right. So the next question we have is, how do we add a network printer? The trick to adding a network printer is first, you want to know which printer you want to use. We have print servers on every floor, and each one has a list of all the printers. And the way it works is they're kind of named by their location. And usually that means an office or workstation it's either in or directly adjacent to. So say you want to hook up to the printer that's inside workstation 510. Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to access the print server. There's a little bit of a trick to it. It's actually pretty simple except for a couple floors. So what we do is we go to Start, we go to Run, and now we want to type in the address for the print server. Now, depending on what your floor is going to be, it's going to be // PS and then your floor. Now, this is true for floors 2 through 10 in the Keck building. If I wanted to do one that's on the second floor, I'd do 02. If I want to do it on the 7th floor, 07. And the 10th floor, just do 10. Now, if you're on either the first floor or the 11th floor, they're actually just combined with the 2nd floor and the 10th floor. That makes sense. If that sounds confusing, let me know. But if you're on the first floor, you would just use PS02. And if you're on the 11th floor, PS10. And you'll see them all listed together. Now, once again, let's pretend we're going to add a printer that's in the 5th floor in workstation 510. Now, go ahead and OK, and we get this list. This is a list of all the printers on your floor. And in the case of 11 and floor 1, it'll be a combination of both floors. But it's a list of all the printers on the floor, all the ones you can access, and there's a very simple naming designation to all of them. For instance, you look at this very first one, it's M501W-LJ43KN. Now the M means that it's in the Keck building, so all these are going to say M. The next numbers and letter, if there is one, tell where it's located. So say in this example we're looking for the one that's inside workstation 510. Well, we look for 510W. Now the W, of course, signifies that it's a workstation. So M510W is the workstation we're looking for. Then we identify the printer, in this case LJ43KN. It's a LaserJet 4300. Now all we have to do, once we've identified it, all we have to do is select it and double left click on it. You'll see this connecting to, shouldn't take too long, the flashlight's going to move around a little bit. And then once you get the printer queue window like this, it's installed. It's ready to print. You'll see it on all sorts of whatever you're printing out. If you want to change it to your default printer, simply go up here to Printer and click on Set as Default. And it'll be the first printer that's selected every time you try to print. Okay. Now, the next question is, how can I add my supervisor's mailbox and calendar? Now, this is a little bit more complicated because it takes a couple steps. You can't just do it alone. You need to have the person that you're trying to share the mailbox or calendar with to give you permission. First thing you have to do is you'll have to go to them and say, I need to get permission to share. You'll have to give that to me on your Outlook. So we'll open up Outlook, and what we want them to do is to designate you as a delegate. So what we're going to do is go to Tools, Options, and then you'll see in the option screen that comes up, the very last one is Delegates. So you'll click on that, and this is where you can add people to be able to send items on your behalf. So this is particularly for mail. So if you want to be able to add them so they can send on your behalf, you just hit Add. You get the global address list with all the people in the academies. You can either type in their email address, find them. Regardless, it'll show up there. So let's say I want to add I misspelled his name, Ross McIsaac. So select his name, double click on it. It's right there, hit OK. And this will give you options of what you want them to be able to do. For the calendar, I can name him as editor, so that he can read, write, and modify items. He can be an author, where you can read and create items, or you can be a reviewer, where you can read items. Now, if you just want If you're just supposed to be able to just read the emails, read the calendar, make sure, check on things. You probably just want to be as a reviewer. If you want to be able to send as that person or create meetings as that person, you probably want to be author or editor, depending on what you need. Same thing happens. Here we go for the person's inbox. We can designate this person as a reviewer, author, or editor. And once you've selected everything, again, we have contacts, anything here that you use regularly. At the end, we'll just hit OK. So we've got him listed. His permissions are set. We hit OK. And it's set on his end. Now that's set for the inbox. Sometimes you want to make sure that they have permissions for everything else. For instance, if you want them to have the entire mailbox, once you have them as delegate, you can right-click here on the mailbox and click sharing, and you see there's a permissions tab here. We could add Ross here also. So we could find Ross McIsaac, add him, and make sure he's able to create, read. It's a very similar thing. Or we can use standard things like editor or author. Basically, it gives you more ability to designate exactly what he has access to. Now that is on the supervisor's end. Now on your end, in order to be able to see all these things, you have to add the supervisor. So in this case, what you'll have to do is you go into Outlook like we are right now, go to Tools, we'll go to Email Accounts, and we want to view or change your existing email account. And once we get to this screen, we're going to hit the Change button. And it's kind of, you have to go down pretty far. But then More Settings, and you want to go to the Advanced tab. And as you can see here, mailboxes. Open these additional mailboxes. This is so it knows to open up your boss's, your supervisor's email. It doesn't know to do that. You have permission to do it, but it doesn't know to do that until you add them. So in this case, for instance, say I wanted to add Paul Seidel. I would add his mailbox, hit OK. It would show up there. I would hit OK here, next, finish. And as you can see, I now have Paul Seidel's mailbox listed here. Now, the trick here is that if he doesn't give me permission, I can have it listed here, but it's not going to let me open it. That's what doing the permissions on your supervisors then allows you to do. So if you see unable to expand the folder when you try to open it, it means that the permissions haven't been set correctly. Alright, so that's how you'd access it. So then we can just remove it later. Alright, so the next question, does ITS have a PDF application that I can use to convert Word documents? Now I assume that that specifically means that you want to be able to change Word documents, stuff that you're working on, into a PDF, because I know lots of people like to use PDFs because they're easy to transmit, they can't be edited, they're very standardized. It is a very useful thing. So in this case, what we'd probably do is we'd install PDF Factory Pro on your computer. What PDF Factory Pro does is it allows you to print your Word document into PDF format. And we offer it to any user that wants it. Very simple to install. In fact, you can install it yourself. Why don't we show you how to do that? First you're going to do is you're going to go to the Start menu and click Run. Now we still have the leftover from that previous experiment, so we'll clear that out. In this case, you want to go to //NRC02 and then hit OK or hit Enter. And it looks like the other screen, only what we're looking for here is PDF Fact 3. Now, just like when you installed that printer earlier, to install this, all you have to do is double left click on it. You'll see the connecting to thing again with the flashlight, it's working, and then of course, once you see this Q, that means it's installed. Now, how do you use it? Because it's obviously not very useful if you're not using it. Let's open up a Word document. Go to Office, we'll go to Word. Okay, say we type something, this is my work document. Very exciting document, and I'm sure you want to get this to everyone you know. So let's put it in PDF format. It's very simple, very easy. Just imagine you're printing the document to a printer. We'll go to File, Print, And what we want to do is change the printer. Because we are printing it, but we're not printing it to a printer. We're printing it to PDF Factory Pro. And if you click that down arrow, you'll see it right here, NRC02/PDF Factory Pro. So we'll select that as our printer. We'll hit OK. And it's going to think for a little bit. And you'll get this screen. You'll see it's the PDF Factory Pro screen. It looks just like your document. As far as you can tell, it hasn't done anything. But what we have now, you have a Save button. And if you hit the Save button, you're saving it as a PDF. So now once you save it someplace, you can attach it to an email, load it up to your portal page, anything like that. Very simple, very quick. And once again, like I said, freely available to all Academy's users here on your work computers. Hopefully you are sending documents more interesting than this is my work document. All right. So next question I have is, when will Office 2010 be available for use? Well, currently, we have users here at the Academies using Office 2003, and also known as Office XP, and we have some using Office 2007. As some of you might know, it took us a while to even start migrating 2007, and the reason for this is that certain applications, certain databases, spreadsheets, stuff that people work on here in general, they don't have full compatibility with newer versions of Office. For instance, we had lots of problems with databases being able to open in Office 2007. So once we slowly got those databases updated so that they could work with 2007, we were able to migrate more and more people over. Now the same thing's going to happen with Office 2010. It's out, it's tested, it's a commercial product, but we need to make sure that before we go to it, that all the stuff that we use here, everything on the web apps, the databases, the spreadsheets, work with the new version before we move over whole hog. Because we don't want to leave anyone behind. We don't want someone to go, hey, we can't do our work now because the Academies has passed us by. So there's no set date. We hope to eventually move to Office 2010. It's got lots of exciting new features, including the ability to have multiple users editing a single document. I know that excites a lot of people here. Excites me. But it's going to take some testing. And hopefully we'll be able to give you a more concrete date in the future. But for right now, we're just going to have to stick with what we got for now. All right.